Hey guys, welcome back to the Cemetery You channel. I do hope everyone is doing well. So in today's video, I'm going to be talking about the different ways that I have dried my hair over the course of my loc quest. Let's get to it. So yes, as I literally just said, I'm going to be talking about how I have dried my locks over the course of my loc quest. But before we get into it, I'm going to ask you guys to hit that subscribe button if you're not already subscribed, and by the time you're done watching this video, if you happen to like what you hear, hit the like button. Alright, so this is an interesting topic, and I don't know, I would assume that many of you guys can relate, but over the course of my loc quest at different stages, I have used different methods to dry my locks. For instance, in the early years, maybe like the first and second years, I would say, I would pretty much, wash my hair and then let it air dry. I would take certain precautions. For instance, if I was going to wash my locks, I would definitely start early in the day, and I would make sure that I didn't have anything to do so that I didn't have to worry about going out. Although, depending on the day, if it was a bright, sunny, warm day, going out would actually aid my hair in drying. So, but I would think about those things. I would make those types of considerations when I was planning out when I was going to wash my locks. And it was fine. By the end of the day, my locks were always dry, so I never had to worry about mold and mildew. But then as my locks started to get longer, what I would notice is that pretty much my hair would dry the same way. I would try to do the air drying approach. And I should mention, I didn't mention, but during the first 2 years and throughout the course of my loc quest, I've always towel dried at first, right? I do that initially to absorb as much moisture as possible, so that that's just less moisture that will have to evaporate later, right? So I did that, and then getting to the third year, I would towel dry, and then I would air dry like before. But what I would notice is that by the time it was bedtime, my locks still weren't completely dry at the tips. And I think, it's just because of gravity. The gravity pulls the moisture down to the tips of your locks. And that's the last part of your locks that actually dry, at least for me. That hair is super dense and super matted because it's the oldest, it's the most mature part of the locks. So that moisture in there is essentially trapped. So of course it's gonna take longer to dry in those areas. So then I started introducing the blow dryer. So I would use this bad boy and just, blow, warm air on the tips to try to expedite the drying process. And then eventually I got an attachment, which I'll put a picture up. And you basically would hook it onto this, and it was a hood. So then you put the hood over your head and, put my locks up so the tips were on the top of my head, and that would help them to dry. I like this method, but it was annoying because that attachment would slip off quite a bit while I was drying. So it was just kind of annoying, but it worked, so I continued with it the third and fourth year. And now we're into the fifth year, and so I decided to try something else, which is similar, but it's a little bit different. So starting at some point during this fifth year, I started using this Infinity Pro by Conair. So basically, it's the hood and the dryer together, so I don't have to worry about using an attachment with the blow dryer that I have. It all comes in one, and I found this to be really convenient because I could just plug it in, put the hood on, and let it dry. Now the thing that I really like about this is that there are 4 different settings. There's a cool, there's a low, there's a medium, and there's a high. So you don't have to worry about burning your scalp off or frying your locks in the process, right? So yeah, there are 4 heat speed settings. There's a 4-foot hose with the easy lock feature, which I'll show you in a moment. There's a soft bonnet with a lock feature as well. And there's a 6-foot power cord. So it's just really convenient. So here's the bad boy, and here's the handle. So you can carry it around with you if you're on vacation or taking a trip or something. You can stow it in your suitcase, your luggage. Here are the 4 settings. Right? And there's the on and off switch. Now you might be wondering, where's the hose and where's the power cord? It's on this side. Open this. The cord comes out. And this right here, this is how you adjust the slack. And then the power cord is also in here as well. And here's the hood that I use that came with it. This is where you attach it. And this is where you adjust the tightness. Like that. So very convenient, very easy. So being over 5.5 years into my lock journey, I don't have time to mess around with my locks drying. And simply letting them air dry is no longer sufficient. It doesn't work for me. I still do a couple of the same things that I've always done. If I'm gonna wash my hair, I make sure it's like early in the day. I do still towel dry to absorb the most amount of moisture possible. And then I may let it try to air dry for a bit, but after air drying a little bit, I definitely put my locks up and then use this Infinity Pro hair dryer by Conair to get those tips dried where it's most dense, most compact, and most wet for the longest period of time. So yeah, this is how I dry my locks now. And I'm curious to know how you guys dry your locks and if you have had to change your approach as your locks have gotten longer. I know in the lock community, you hear the ubiquitous saying that, hey, heat is bad for your hair. And that's not even just within the lock community, that's like within the natural hair community as a whole. And that is true, but there are ways to circumvent certain problems. Use a lower heat setting, use a cool setting. There are just things that you can do to overcome certain obstacles that still allow you to use things that would be otherwise forbidden, you know? So use your brain, experiment a little bit within reason, trust your own results versus what people are telling you, and that includes this video and what I'm telling you. If you find that your experience is different, then do what works for. That's right. If you made it this far in the video, don't forget to subscribe, don't forget to like, and type in the comments 91 degrees because that's how hot it is currently. And I will see you in the next video. Peace.